Greetings! In this video I'm going to be showing you how you can embed a website into Firefly, and by website I mean an external website or another website, how you can literally take that web page and you can put that web page into Firefly so students can use it. Bit of a disclaimer, it doesn't work with all websites, but I will be showing you a few workarounds when that doesn't work as well. So I've created a brand new page and it is a completely normal page. So in some of my other tutorials I'll be saying to you, you need to use a particular special new type of page like a class test or an assignment, but this works on any type of page because it's just like embedding an image. It's just a way of embedding various different tools, but it doesn't work with every website, and I'll show you why. I'm going to start off with the site that doesn't work, which is the BBC News, which sadly doesn't work, but I'll show you the method. So we basically go up here, we look at all these things, insert image, insert gallery, blah, 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 click more. We're looking for the one that says insert web page, and it really is as simple as putting the web address in there. And now we choose the height. Now this is how much of the site do I actually want the site to take up on my page, and I'll come back to that, and we're going to leave the scroll bars on and we're going to hit done, and you get the big sad face. And if you get the sad face on the screen, you put the sad face on your face because it hasn't worked and we're sad. It doesn't work with all web pages. It's probably down to kind of the coding on those particular sites, but it does work with others, and sometimes it actually works on different pages in the same site, and I'll demonstrate this. I'm now going to go to BBC Bite Size, which is still on the BBC site, but this one does work. You've just got to try it. So if I go back in here, if you ever want to edit one, you click on it and there's a little cog, or I can just delete the whole thing and start again. So I'm going to replace this, and I'll show you something else at the same time. Can you see how big that is there? That's the 400. So I'm just going to change the height to 600. So it's going to be a little bit longer, and boom! I now have this website on my site, on my Firefly site, and I'll hit publish, and you can see that I can even scroll up and down in this website inside the Firefly site, and I can even click links. So if I click online lesson schedule, I can click links and I can surf around. Now I can't get out of this site unless there's an actual clicky link to take me out, but I can kind of navigate within it. So if you want the students only to go to a very specific page, you can't restrict them, but they can only get there through the site. But let's face it, they're sitting at home on a web browser. If they want to go to another web page, they can do it without your help. So so that's not going to help them there. But there you go. That's how you do it. Let me show you another little few kind of things that we can do with this to kind of make it look cool. So if you turn the scroll bars off, it stops them kind of scrolling down. So if you literally just want them to see a particular bit of a web page, as long as it's at the top, that'll work. But I'm just going to demonstrate this. If I go and grab one of my other YouTube tutorials on Puppet Pals or something like that, and I'm just going to add that YouTube video in here by pasting it in. Now you probably know this already, but you can drag most elements in a page around and you can put them next to each other. If you see that little grey bar there has appeared, I can put something on the right, I can put something on the left. So I can now have the video and the web page side by side, so it starts to look a bit more like a kind of a publisher kind of effect. And they're not quite the same size, but don't worry, I can fiddle with that. So if I make the web page say more like 300, they'll start to kind of line up. But don't worry too much about lining things up, because remember, Firefly will automatically adjust depending on the width of the screen that the person is looking at. So if I was looking at this on a mobile phone, it's going to look different anyway. But my point is here that you could put a text element above it. You could put more than one website into a particular page. You can put your own kind of notes around it, and that's pretty cool. I'll show you a couple of the most popular ones. So if you want to embed a Kahoot, then you embed Kahoot.it. You can even take them to a particular quiz, I think, but let's just go with the Kahoot.it to make it easier. So what you do is you get Kahoot.it. We'll go back to the other one. We'll go embed web page again. I'll put that in there. I'll make the page a little bit bigger because they need to be able to see the buttons, and boom, there you go. I've got a Kahoot, so I can put the Kahoot in my site for a live lesson, or even if you're doing a Kahoot and you want to do you might have seen this, but in Kahoot you can do another version of a Kahoot, which is what you call a study one, and so they can actually do it at their own time, and you can link directly to that as well. If you're in Nearpod, so here's a Nearpod presentation I'm doing here. If you go up here, you can see which gives you the code. If you don't know what Nearpod is, then don't worry about this, but if you do know this is Nearpod, you can go here, you can click the button that says link, and it gives you a code that links people to it, and you can actually embed your Nearpod, as long as it's live, directly into here. And again, I would probably make it a little bit bigger, just because you've you might have kind of big slides, and hopefully, there we go. It takes them straight to the Nearpod code, so they can put in their name, and they can once the web page is live, they can join. Now, of course, with Nearpod and Kahoot, the page will only respond if your Kahoot and if your Nearpod is actually live. But it probably will be, because that's what you'll be doing. So it's a nice way of kind of helping students to kind of get around. And of course, in Kahoot and in Nearpod, you can set them both to student paced, so actually they will work when you're not there, but you just need to set them up to work when you're not there. I said I was going to tell you another couple of ways to get this working. I mean, it's a cheeky one, but if you screenshot a web page, print screen, I tend to do it by, I tend to screenshot a website and then I tend to paste it into I then tend to paste it into MS Paint, and then I grab it and I press the crop button. This isn't a tutorial on that, so I'm not explaining exactly how I'm doing, but you can probably see it. Basically, I paste the image, I crop it down to what I want, I then go back to it and I press edit page again, and I kind of paste that in there, and boom, I've got the website. Of course, this one isn't live and they can't click on any of the links and so on, but I do in theory have the website. I seem to have done that badly and put in the whole screenshot. Let me just do that again, because I don't want to fail. There we go, and we can paste that one in. The other way you can get these working sometimes is by using, and there's the site, is using up here what we call an embed code. So here we've got embed. Now, so say for example you've got a site that you want to embed and it won't work through that method. Google, how do I embed, and then put the name of the site. The word embed is E-M-B-E-D. And hopefully you'll get a result, and Google will explain how to do it. So for example, if you look at my Microsoft Streams video, how I embedded that, I literally Googled, how do you embed Microsoft Streams into Firefly, got the result, followed the instructions, and what I had to do then is I had to put a bit of HTML code into Firefly, and it worked because I followed the instructions there. And I'll show you another example of that is where I used Twitter. So here where I used a Twitter feed, I had to Twitter doesn't work just by default, so I had to Google how do I embed a Twitter feed, got the result, read the instructions, grabbed the code, and here we can see today's Twitter feed. And if I click on that one and then click the edit button, you can see that's actually done by some HTML code. We're getting a bit more advanced here, but my point is basically if the embed website button doesn't work, it might be worth Googling a little bit further and seeing if you can find another way of doing it. Or all might be lost, who knows? Or make your own website that works instead. So hopefully that's given you a few ways of doing it, a few hints and tips. Let me know if you have any questions about it, and see you on the next one. Yeah.